What's up, guys? It's the Neon Phoenix here, and welcome to me reacting to some scary stories. I'm gonna be handpicking these stories on YouTube. So the first story is a mysterious man is standing outside and trying to enter my house. And let's begin. Because I remember when Corey Kenshin would make Spooky Scary Sunday videos, and I decided to try it to carry on his legacy.
My name is Pascal. I'm 22 years old now, but this event happened 3 years ago when I was 19.
Okay?
It happened in the middle of the night when my parents were away for an important company meeting.
Is that a stick figure over there?
The company was kind of far away from where we lived, so I stayed home by myself while they were gone. One time, while I was at home alone, I looked out the window randomly and froze. There was a tall man, almost dressed
Fuck is this boy?
entirely in black. He was wearing a tuxedo and holding a kitchen knife. This guy was standing right outside of the door.
That's when you go in your dad's safe, get the bazooki or a gun, and say, "Hey, what the fuck you doing in my house?"
Looking at me.
No, outside my house.
He wasn't laughing at all, and his head was twitching continuously. "Sir, please get off our property. Otherwise, I'll call the police."
You made a mistake opening the window, buddy. What if he would have threw the knife at you? You should have you could have shot the strap.
I opened the window and told him. Then the man replied, "Oh, you can do that if you want, as long as you don't look away." Because of this strange attitude, I felt anxious. So I grabbed my cell phone and called the police.
You should have looked at him while calling the police.
But when I looked out the window again,
right? He's gone.
He was gone.
See? That was
At that very moment,
mistake.
I heard footsteps coming from downstairs.
Oh, Fook, he's already inside the house.
I suddenly remembered that I forgot to lock my garden door.
You fucking dumbass!
So it was still open.
That's when you go to dad's safe, get the gun.
I thought I was gonna die at first, but then I pulled myself together. I got my bat and looked down the stairs.
That's
slowly,
what I'm talking about.
Trying not to make a sound. There he was. He was just staring at me. He didn't move, but said, "I told you not to look away." A few moments later, we heard sirens. The man still did not move. But then he suddenly changed his mind and walked over to me. I tried to swing my bat towards him, but I was so scared. I couldn't do anything except scream. The police broke down the door. One policeman tried to arrest him, and the other one tried to take the knife away from him, but the man resisted. He was strong. Even though he was outnumbered, they couldn't stop him. They threatened to shoot him in the foot, but he didn't care. Furthermore, he attacked the two policemen, and they tumbled down to the ground.
Damn, you letting this crazy man body you?
I ran to one of the rooms and slammed the door shut, but he kicked in the door.
Oh, shit!
When the door opened, I could see his face, and I will never, ever forget that
What kind of freaky shit you into licking the knife like that?
moment. However, at that very moment, the police caught up to him and shot his foot. The guy started screaming in pain. Shortly after that, he managed to jump outside of a window and disappeared.
Damn!
The policemen chased after him, but unfortunately, they failed to arrest him. I never saw that guy again. I'm glad that I survived that incident, but I also feel nervous that he'll come to my house again. From that day on, I always made sure I locked all the doors and windows.
That's good. Oh shit, he back. Okay, next horror video. Okay, the next one is I made the creepiest friend at the deep web. Why would you do some stupid shit by going in the dark or deep web? And I didn't mean to end my recording, so I'm gonna have to split all these into one.
When I was a teenager, I would often explore the deep web with my friends. Specifically, weird stuff on Hidden Wiki. There were definitely a lot of links to choose from.
What kind of?
I never clicked on the violent links because I'm not into that.
Oh.
My friend Latrice told me to click on one that says new best friend. After doing so, it takes you to a page where you have to make a profile. I put the name Lisa on my profile. My real name is Susan. Once I made the profile, you are directed to a main page that has categories. They were silly, serious, smart, and smothering. We clicked smothering. I thought it was funny. After choosing, there was a list of people with their pictures, male and female. I clicked on the profile of a guy that had the name 5, like the number 5. I entered, and it didn't seem like someone who would be a smothering friend.
This redhead freak.
When I was searching through his profile, I received a message from him asking if I were looking for a friend. I looked at Latrice, and she laughed, but also told me to respond yes.
Don't listen to your
So
friend.
we're messaging back and forth for maybe 30 minutes, and then Latrice had to go. I told him I'll be back on tomorrow, and he said okay. Maybe a week went by where I would talk to him every night. He seemed very nice, so we exchanged numbers so we could talk more.
You stupid, stupid girl.
Everything seemed fine until I clicked on another profile and someone else messaged me. I started talking with this other person, but still was texting the guy 5, which I knew his real name now as William. The new guy had the name Bill on his profile. A day went by, and he seemed cool, but then William randomly asked me
He's obsessed with you.
why I was talking with Bill. I didn't know what to say,
And how the hell did you know that shit?
so I never responded. He kept texting with angry messages, so I
He's
blocked him.
obsessed with you.
I didn't receive any texts, only a single message on that site, and it said soon. One day after school, my friend Latrice came over to have a sleepover. We got comfortable, went to my room, and did our usual of surfing through the web, being nosy. I brought up that guy. Then I received a text message that said,
Oh no.
"Why'd you block me?" from a random number. I replied with a question mark. Then he replied, "It's me, William." He texted me from another number after I blocked him. I told Latrice how creepy this guy
He's
is.
an obsessive motherfucker.
Then Latrice stopped me from talking because she thought she heard something. Then I heard a voice. "I'm not that creepy."
Oh fuck!
We both responded by screaming and looking around.
Did anyone just get the chills? Oh my god.
I saw someone coming from under my bed, so
Oh
we
my
ran screaming out of my room, and my mother called the cops. They didn't get him because he left through my window, and nothing could be traced back to him.
How the fuck did he even get in?
I'm starting to think that he was both of the people I was talking to. That definitely opened my eyes to the dangers of the internet. I would never visit the dark web again.
What kind of stupid shit are you using? Okay, guys, we're gonna react to 4 more short horror stories, and these ones are from Llama Art, so I'm excited to react to these ones. The first one is Hitchhiking Horror Stories.
3 months after I turned 16 in 2005, I got my first car, a '99 Toyota Camry.
Ooh, I see
On a
it.
warm Saturday night, when my friend Alex invited me over to one of his friend's big parties, I knew I wouldn't be in a condition to drive the Camry home afterward. So we carpooled with Alex's girlfriend Brianna. We lived in the countryside of Virginia, meaning less big parties. Meaning when there was a big party, it was a huge deal and everyone would go. We lived about 5 to 10 minutes away from this kid's house. I knew where he lived as I was acquainted with him, but not exactly friends. The whole ride there, we took the same 2-lane highway type road through the woods, and this kid's house was actually on this road further down. At certain points on this road, there were a few houses on either side, and then it would just go back to being a long, empty highway again. The house was tiny, like a lot of houses around the area, but the party was held outside anyways, since his closest neighbors were relatively far away, and noise wasn't an issue. I'll skip most of the party up until the point that Brianna, who was supposed to be our designated driver, had to suddenly leave for a small family emergency. Alex said it was fine and that we'd find a ride home. Well, fast forward another few hours and another few drinks, and I could barely even walk straight. I checked my watch,
Man,
and it
you got turned up.
was like 2 in the morning. I figured it was time to go. I started looking for Alex, but I couldn't find him anywhere. In fact, it seemed like everybody I knew had already left. I could barely even think straight, but I was still furious at the fact that Alex could have actually left without me.
That motherfucker left you, he ain't your friend.
I asked to use the party host's phone and dialed Alex's home number. After 2 tries, I gave up and then realized I shouldn't wake his family up. So, literally not knowing what else to do, I dizzily stepped out onto the road and began walking back home. I knew this walk would take anywhere from half an hour to an hour in my condition. Maybe after 15 minutes of walking down the road, the slight shine of car headlights on the road was fading in from behind me. Jumping for joy inside, I lifted up my arm and stuck out my thumb. As the car neared, it slowed down and came to a stop right next to me. The man driving the '98 Ford Explorer rolled down the window and asked where you headed. I told him my house was just down the road and beyond a right turn, probably slurring my words beyond comprehension. He chuckled and told me to hop in.
I don't trust this boy.
I thanked him and joyously hopped into the truck. I was exhausted.
Look at that smile. I do not trust this motherfucker one bit.
And I remember completely disregarding things the guy was asking me because I was so close to just passing out. And that's what happened. The memories of being in that truck turned to a fog as I'm sure I passed out. The next thing I remember, I woke up still in the moving truck. The guy looked at me and left,
look at that smile,
but didn't say anything. I looked around and realized the road we were on wasn't familiar. I nervously asked, where are we going? He then said,
to your doom.
No. So what were you doing out this late anyway? As the man
answer my question,
answered my very straightforward question with another irrelevant question, the sobering reality of the situation hit me. You can let me out anywhere,
right?
I told the man. The man responded with a firm no.
Ooh?
I felt like
you're fucked, buddy.
Throwing up as he said that. No, I really actually felt like I was going to throw up.
Well, this is what you gotta do. You gotta throw up on his ass and then kick him in the balls and try to escape out the window.
I started to gag as I felt more and more nauseous by the second.
And there you go.
The man took his eyes off the road to look at me, and that's when I thought of the perfect distraction.
Yeah.
I turned in his direction as I continued to gag, and he started to kind of lean away and slow down the car.
Throw up on this man.
Thankfully, I drank as much as I did because I finally threw up and made a point of doing it all over the man's lap. The man yelled in frustration and stopped the car, and that's when I took it upon myself to run for my life into the woods and duck behind a few bushes. The man came following into the woods with a flashlight, and on 2 separate occasions, he shined the light straight over me without noticing. Eventually, I heard his footsteps walk even further into the woods past me. That was when I ran back to his truck, but unfortunately, he was smart enough to lock it. By some miracle, I saw another car approaching in the distance, and I ran out into the middle of the street, waving my arms like a lunatic. The car tried to avoid me, but I wouldn't let it. They were forced to stop, and I yelled at them to help me before they came back. Once I told them that I was kidnapped by the man who was driving that Ford Explorer, the driver agreed to give me a lift. Not to the police station or anything, but to my house. I made it back safely where I couldn't thank the driver enough.
Yeah, this is a good man right here.
I immediately woke up my parents and told them. My dad wanted to know if I got his tag number, and then I felt like punching myself in the face. I failed to get the simplest information from the guy that would have allowed me to actually properly report him. All I knew was that he drove a faded blue '99 Ford Explorer. I made sure to give Alex a piece of my mind, and part of me always held a grudge against him ever since, just for abandoning me at a party without telling me.
If he was your true friend, he's like, yo, I'm gonna go home. You wanna come with?
I haven't seen him in 4 years now, however, and this was actually the first time I even thought about this incident for almost a year now. As time goes on, even the worst of memories may start to fade. But after writing this to share with the internet, it's once again fresh in my mind.
Something gonna happen? Okay, what's the next one? House sitting horror stories. There's gonna be 3 more. This one and 2 more. Oh, look at that guy. Saw this guy right here.
me a small job offer. One of his coworkers was going away for a few days and needed somebody he could trust to watch over his house. The reason my dad pitched this to me was because the man's house has a big CCTV system, basically a camera in every room, and then an operating desk where all screens could be watched on a big monitor. And I'm a computer science major, so my dad just always assumes that I know how to work anything technological. The man told my dad that he'd pay me $200 for the 2 days just to watch the house, whatever that meant. My dad drove me to the house and introduced me to the man, whose name doesn't matter. The man made it seem like he preferred I stay in the upstairs room with the monitors as opposed to roaming the house all day. That was fine with me though. So when I wasn't eating, I was mostly just sitting in that room with the TV on in the background and doing schoolwork on my laptop. Ironically, the thing I was doing the least was keeping an eye on the monitors.
That's bad.
Night came. I started wondering where in the house I should sleep, since surprisingly, we hadn't discussed that. So I sat back down at the desk and looked at all the different rooms on the screens to see which rooms had beds or couches. I noticed something I wasn't expecting to notice though.
What?
The back screen door was open downstairs.
Oh shit.
I didn't remember it being open. I looked through each and every camera screen in a panic. In the living room, a closet door was open. This one I knew wasn't open earlier. I texted my dad to call the man and ask him if he came back home. Meanwhile, I continued watching the screen. On the grainy, dark image, a tall person who resembled only a black shadow on the screen stepped out from the closet. I pulled my arms off the desk as I covered my mouth with my hands in shock.
Nah.
As I did this, however, my left elbow pulled some heavy object from the desk onto the floor, creating a big thud. The person in the image very clearly moved their head up to the ceiling as a response to the noise. They went for the stairs, walking up very, very slowly, step by step. Meanwhile, I got a text back from my dad saying, "No, he's not. I just spoke to him half an hour ago. Why?" I got so caught up in my phone texting my dad to send help that I didn't even pay attention to the monitor. There was a knock at the door. I looked at it and then the screens. The first screen I laid my eyes on was the one showing the person outside the door to the room I was in. When I remembered that door had no lock, the only thing I could think to do was jump out the window into the bushes below. I ran halfway down the block and then stopped when my dad called me. I had him call his friend and ask him if he was expecting somebody in the house. The man said he had no relatives or friends who had his key or would ever let themselves into his home. So he called the cops and had them review the footage. I got to watch all of it, and it showed everything. From the moment the intruder broke the glass to the backyard door, to the moment I jumped out the window and him running away shortly after. The intruder was never found. The footage was just too dark to identify his face.
You don't have any night vision cameras? Okay, what's the next one? True creepy thunderstorm. Fun fact, in the past, my big sister used to be scared of thunderstorms. She used to cry.
In the year
every time there was a
2009, I
thunderstorm.
was spending a weekend with my uncle on his ranch when my parents were renovating the new house we had just bought. It was my second night there, a Saturday, and it happened to be during one of the biggest thunderstorms of the year. I'd say there were at least 3 crashes of thunder and lightning per minute. And we were in the heart of the storm, because the thunder would crash not even a second after the lightning would. I always enjoyed listening to storms while laying in bed. So I stayed up a little later watching TV, just enjoying the ambiance. After the movie I was watching finally ended, I turned off the TV and tried to fall asleep.
Almost everyone does that. The fuck was that?
As I heard the lightning strike from outside, I could have sworn I heard some kind of metallic thud coming from outside at the same time. I didn't pay it too much mind. 20 seconds later.
If this motherfucker, whoever's outside, they're obviously waiting for each thunder strike, they hit something.
I could have sworn I heard it again. A very distinct metallic thud coming from outside to match the timing of the lightning. I really don't mean to make this sound like a cliche horror story, But my uncle really is a kind of creepy guy, and I was never close with him even remotely. So for that reason, I didn't feel right going to wake him up. I just tried to forget about it.
Don't do that.
Now I was getting concerned. What the hell could that be? After the third time, I finally got out of bed and walked over to the window of the guest bedroom. The water pouring down on the window made it extra hard to see what was out there in the dark fields. A flash of lightning momentarily lit up the property, but I couldn't see anything. However, once again, the sound of a metal hit accompanied it. The sound was so close now, it sounded like it was coming from the left of the window at a blind spot.
Uh-oh.
I was going to do something I knew my uncle wouldn't be happy about. It would be a bit messy, but I was going to open the window and peer outside to see if I could see what the sound was.
Dumbass.
I unhooked the window lock and slid it up, and immediately the wind of the storm blew drops of rain into the room and onto me. I stuck my head out the window and looked to the left, and at that very moment, lightning lit up the property once again, and I could see a person dressed in all black crouched down by the outside basement door with his hand raised in the air. And before the sky went dark, I caught the briefest glimpse of what the sound was coming from.
Oh,
the person was bashing at the basement door lock. I pulled my head in and quietly shut the window, making sure to lock it.
Good job.
I was in a panic. I feared he might have seen or heard me.
He definitely saw you.
I ran back to bed and pretended to be asleep, facing away from the window. Lightning crashed once again, but this time there was no metallic thud. My heart must have dropped as I realized this. I just stayed put in bed for the longest time, hoping whoever was out there would go away. After maybe 3 more lightning crashes without any thuds accompanying them, I thought it would be safe to go tell my uncle. I turned to face the window and screamed. There was a figure, clear as day, standing at the window, looking in at me. I screamed as loud as I could and ran straight to my uncle's room. He went outside with his hunting rifle with nothing on but his pajamas, not even socks. He ran around the entire property yelling like a madman, but didn't find anyone. The next morning, we were able to better see the marks on the basement door lock. It was almost bashed open. Maybe 3 or 4 more good hits would have done it, according to my uncle. He was proud of me for picking up on it. Luckily, I was out of there that same day. My uncle hasn't told us of any incidents since, so I think he's been okay. Not that we talk to him much at all. I'm grateful I stayed up a little later that night watching that movie, because I may have just stopped a robbery, or possibly much worse.
Okay, one more story. Then I gotta combine those things together. Oh, fucking
This
God.
game, you're not ready.
True, disturbing Snapchat stories. Okay.
This happened a week ago. Up until a few days ago, I went to a small, local gym in my now previous New Jersey town called Black Bear Fitness. One day, I had the misfortune of running into some skinny, awkward, yet creepy-looking kid, probably 18 years old. He didn't look like he belonged in a gym at all. I had headphones in and I was doing my set when I heard him saying something to me, but it was muffled by the music. I was already annoyed with this
Why are you bothering this guy when he's trying to do his set? You don't bother people while they're doing their set.
kid, given that he was breaking an unwritten rule of the gym. Don't try to talk to somebody when they're doing their sets.
Right.
I took my time finishing my set, and then took my headphones out to ask if he needed something. Then he started acting like I looked familiar, but right away I knew this kid was just trying some pathetic attempt at making friends. I assured him I didn't, but the kid wouldn't stop talking to me.
Is this motherfucker wearing socks with sandals? And they're dirty, no less.
I'll skip most of the conversation, but eventually he actually asked me for my Instagram and Snapchat, weirdly enough, and for whatever reason I gave them to him.
Why?
Instead of just saying something like, buddy, I'm trying to work out, or I don't have social media.
Yeah, why? And why did I just get goosebumps like
After
that
I gave him my Snapchat and Instagram, however, I did kind of urge him to let me resume my workout. He finally seemed to get the message and walked away. Not without saying bye like 3 times though. That night I got a snap on my phone saying from Sean. I immediately sighed and said, oh no.
Oh no.
Just wondering why the hell the kid would snap me. I opened the snap,
What the
and the
fuck?
kid was in a creepy, weird pose.
It's like, hey, what you doing? Just got off of work.
Face way too close to the camera, with his head resting in his hand and
Look at
a
this freaky
half smile on his
motherfucker.
face. The text over the picture was "Hey"
With
with two
Y's.
Y's. I muttered the words, "What the fuck?" For the record, I'm a guy, which made this even more weird.
Right.
My thought process was, I've had enough of this loser already. I'm gonna remove him and make it clear I don't want to talk if I see him at the gym again. And so I did. I removed him minutes after he sent that snap. I'm sure not even a minute later, again a message popped up on my phone saying Snapchat from Sean. I waited a few minutes before opening it. This one was even creepier.
What?
Now the kid was
What
sitting
the
up on his
fuck?
bed, no smile, more of a
Look at
surprised,
that menacing face.
angry expression. The text over the image said, "Why did you remove me?"
Oh shit.
Now I went as far as to block him, meaning he couldn't snap me anymore. And that was that. I threw my phone on the desk and sighed out of relief.
It ain't over, buddy. We still got like I think like a minute.
Half an
left
hour
of the
later,
story.
my phone goes off, saying Sean added you as a friend, and then Snapchat from Sean. He actually made a new account.
This
I
obsessive
opened the snap
motherfucker.
and felt my heart drop.
What? Oh!
It was a picture of my front
get
lawn.
bazooki.
The text over it, "Answer me, bitch." The first thing I could think of was, how did he find my address? Then I realized, Snapchat made that new map feature that lets you see where your friends are.
And that's exactly why I keep that shit on.
Somehow I had the balls to open the window to see outside.
Why?
It was clear out there. I shut the window and the blinds and started considering calling 911.
Oh shit.
It was the sound of taps on the window.
Drag his ass to them.
I took a deep
Kick his
breath,
ass.
and with
Get
one
the
swift
gun.
motion, I pulled up the blind and the window at the same time and pulled the kid into my room by his neck.
Yes,
I punched him in the
Wait,
face a
sir.
few times before he was out cold. Now I called 911. By the time they arrived, he was awake, cursing me out, promising he'd be back and kill me. The cops heard it all. I didn't even have to make a case. The kid was an idiot.
Yep, he was.
Luckily, the timing of this worked out well because I just moved a couple days ago out of state. Only thing that worries me, I don't want to have to make a new Snapchat account, but anytime somebody new adds me on the app,
Low. What kind of?
I'll never know
Whose
if
name is
it's
that?
secretly that Sean kid again.
Well, guys, that was me reacting to horror stories. If you guys want to see more of this, episodes and everything else, make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. And this is the Neon Phoenix signing out. I will see you guys next time.